Greetings Internet, DDA here, and welcome to another round of first look deck profile videos. You all had such a positive, overwhelming response from the first round of deck lists that we did, moving into this new meta in Set 4 Jump to Lightspeed. Such a great response from the first round of these that we did. I released a poll online. I figured that, my brain has just been on fire with all these different deck builds, and I'm in love with deck building in Set 4. I have to get all these deck profile videos out to you all. Again, these are first looks, so these are untested builds or very lightly tested. I might have run a few games with the following builds, because as we get later in the set, I obviously am playing more games. But this list, if you've been following my Star Wars Unlimited competitive career, you know that in Set 1, I started out with Han Green. I love Han Green. And when I was talking with our local Han Green player, Logan, about how to update Han Green in this Set 4 meta, I was kind of tinkering with different builds, and I realized that 90% of the cards that are useful in Han are odd, and we have been given several tools in the new set to make kind of an odd package, quote-unquote odd package, with the new Boschette card as well as with the shuttle Tidarium. There's this kind of odd package that's going on, especially when you consider all the most of the Falcons are odd. The good Falcons are odd. Tech DJ is odd. There's just a lot of odd, as well as like U-Wing and the sevens, like the sevens that Han has become famous for. It's all odd. So when I started to build this deck, I'm thinking, okay, you can do the odd package, and if you're overlooking this list, you'll see that this deck is actually 100% odd. There is 0 even cards in this deck. That means 100% chance for Boschette draw and 100% chance for that shuttle Tidarium experience. So now, you may be asking yourself, well, DDA, if you're running the odd package, why aren't you running the new Han Solo, leader that's a pilot and also has this Boba 1 ability of untapping resources? Well, the answer to that is, what is the disadvantage that you have by playing all odd? Well, the disadvantage is that every other resource, you're going to have this awkward curve where you're not going to have any even costed cards. Like, you're not going to have anything to drop on 6, on 4, or on 8. So you may be in this place where you're playing kind of off curve. Well, Han 1 solves that issue for you by allowing you to jump up at any even resource and make full use of the odd costed cards in your deck. So that means you will never play off curve. You can always play on curve and kind of scalp your hand and pick and choose how you're going to want to curve out in this deck. So I do think the new odd Han leader has a place in this meta, and you may be able to use this list as a starting point for your odd Han leader deck. But I wanted to take some time to talk about Han 1. It's going to be rotating out in a year. Let's make the most use of this Han 1 as long as we can and go into this deck list here. The first card I want to talk about is Nien Nunb. Very strong leader ability in green. Green has some of the best pilots in heroism that we have. Obviously, we have Chewbacca. Chewbacca, one of the strongest cards that Green Hero got. Throw it on pretty much any ship in the game and just be a monster in the space arena, getting that +3/+3, and then as well as immunity to defeat effects and bounce effects. Really, really strong. But if you take the 9 card and then add that into the mix, you either have a pretty strong kind of Greedo replacement. You can see we don't run Greedo in here. The ping effects are real, and he does have 2 HP, so he can pretty easily get up to a 3/2 and then higher as the game continues. So just, added on the fact that the new Falcon has an increased number of pilots that you can have on that card. As you can see, you can start having these stacking pilot effects, with Boshek, with Chewbacca, with the new Han unit. You could start stacking all these pilots and then throw on the 9 or throw him in the ground arena to just have a monstrous unit. Really, really strong. You'll see that Jam Communications is kind of our Spark of Rebellion replacement. That's to help us out with the Han flip turn and things like that. We are running 2 Confiscates main to help us out in the current crazy upgrade meta that we have. We are still running Tech DJ, of course. Gotta run it if you're running Han 1. And as well as, I know a lot of people are hating on the Shuttle Tidarium card because they feel like the self-mill or it may be inconsistent. I don't see that. I think the card is spectacular. I think once you start having additional units, especially in this deck, that has a 100% chance to get that experience on whatever it is that you want. Just really strong, in my opinion. We have 2 copies of the Spare the Target and Waylay, so we're doubling down. There was a time where I actually was playing 3 and 3 of both of these, and in the data vault, when you have an increased number of cards, I don't see that as an issue. I think you can get away with that. So keep that in mind. I may want to go up on Spare the Target a little bit. And then we are also running the Adelphi Patrol Wing to give us a little bit of combat trick as well as a powerful space unit. The 4/6 stat line in space is very strong. Attack with the unit and then put a pilot on there and just run in real hard. Han Solo, one of the greatest units that have been released. Gotta play that as well. The Marauder is a premium here. We are capped out at 3 of almost everything. And we are going to self-mill with the Tidarium and Boshek. So the Marauder play is going to be very, very strong in here. As well as you can see, we are using kind of the 7 suite that we have. We dropped out Han Solo unit in favor of the Radiant 7 with all the pilots that we have. But we're still capped out on U-Wings. We have the Enfys Nest to go cross arena to help us in space and in ground. And then, of course, we have the Luke Skywalker unit to do the same. So this is my first look on, I'm calling it Odd Data. It's running the Odd package with the self-mill from Boshek and the Shuttle Tidarium, as well as the self-mill from Han. I felt like you needed the data vault. You actually needed the data vault to be able to not mill yourself out. You're playing U-Wings, you're playing Tidariums, Bosheks, and you're taking off the top card with Han. There's a lot of self-mill in here, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't defeating ourselves with the self-mill. I think there's something here. The 3 HP could be relevant. Han jumping up and down in resource is really, really strong and always has been strong. So please let me know in the comments how your Han Green testing is going in this new meta. And if this list inspired you to maybe push more in the odd package for Han Solo, because you're not really losing much. So if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please hit subscribe for all the best gaming guides, deck profile videos, and match commentary. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming.